Live from the StreamYard studios in Lake St. Louis, it's Between the Lines with Rob Reynolds. Brought to you by Compass Health Consultants. We have a plan for you. Give us a call today with your health insurance needs. And now, Between the Lines. Hey, you know what? I've been thinking, that growing up, there's always some things that you remember. And it may be advice, or it may be some things that your folks said to you, or maybe that someone else said to you that the first time you'd ever heard it. But I wanted to kind of relive a couple of those today and see if you remember those too. Now, there were always the life lessons that your parents gave you. And I think this was my mom, but she would always say, now, don't you play in that fire. And you were always thinking, well, why not play in the fire? You don't want to burn yourself, but I mean, you can play in it. Might be roast a marshmallow or a weenie or something. I mean, why would you play? Well, because you'll pee the bed. And believe me, we didn't play in the fire. Or if you were playing with your friends and running around the house and, you had maybe some Legos or you had Hot Wheels or whatever you had, that was okay. But if you were running with a coat hanger, oh boy, or one of those sticks you had your weenie on back there trying to put it in the fire, well, if you play with that and you fall, you're going to put an eye out. Anything else you could do, you could have a boulder come down on you. Nope. You run with a coat hanger, you'll put an eye out. And that was a life lesson from my mom and my dad on that one. Now the other one was it came up a lot in the summer, and it was with swimming. When you're going swimming, you couldn't go swimming for an hour after you ate. Now that didn't mean if that like from the start of the meal or to the end of the meal. It's like I took that to mean from the end of the meal. But some people, I saw them out there swimming just as soon as they ate a hot dog. So I don't know what that meant. That was a life lesson that didn't hit home for me. Well, one other life lesson that I had was my mom would say a lot. She said, "Now listen to me. You stop that squalling." You know what squalling is? I think squalling is like crying uncontrollably loud and embarrassing in front of everybody else. But she would say, if you don't stop that squalling, I'll give you something to squall about. And I immediately, I shut right up. I didn't want something else to squall about. I was already upset. So, those are just a few life lessons that come to you from your parents. Now, the other things they'd always say is, don't make me stop this car. Well, you knew right away that you couldn't say, or what? What are you going to do if you stop this car? Because I'm gonna jump out and run away. So what if you stop the car? And then there was the always, I'll tell you one thing, because the important thing was there wasn't just one thing she wanted to tell you. There was a whole litany, a list of things she wanted to tell you. So when you heard, I'll tell you one thing, get out your pad. There's a lot of stuff that you messed up on. And then she would say, now, this is one of my dad's things. He would say, well, Rob, that education is something they can never take away from you. And I always thought to myself, why ain't found anybody that wants to take it away? What's the deal? No one said, okay, here, give me your education. I mean, no one wants it. No one wants to take it away. What were you meaning by that? And then another thing that always bothered me, they said, was whenever there was a real kind of a pathetic case, they may have been a pathetic happening in the community, or maybe a pathetic performance, or somebody made a mistake or fell down or got hurt or whatever. Maybe somebody at church, whatever. And there's a lot of compassion if you heard from your parents, bless their heart. Well, what's that mean? I mean, did they fall down because they had a heart problem, or bless their heart. Well, usually I found that most of the people that fell down and needed their heart blessed didn't have a heart problem. So what was the problem? And then you flash forward to things I used when I was a parent with my two girls. I always, how you get to you exaggerate what the thing is because it helps your story at the time. And whenever now I had good kids, they were great kids, but once in a while they get under your skin a little bit. You'd have to say they need to be grounded. And I always say you're grounded for about uh, 10 months. They were always giving me the eye, like, all right, I won't be grounded in 10 seconds, much less 10 months, because there's something else he'll want to do. And he doesn't want to have to keep up with me because I'm grounded. And then one other thing my mom said that has come to just thought about it for a long time, but I think it was emotional support. Now that I think about it, we were talking about grades and we were talking about uh, job interviews. And my mom was always great to say, you know what? It doesn't matter to us as long as you do your best. And I wanted to say, and your best was an A or a B, maybe an A minus, because if you got anything lower than that, you're going to get your butt whipped. Or, on that interview, just do your best, but you better get the darn job. I tell you. Well, folks, I hope you found something in these brief comments to think was funny. And if you didn't, I hope you smiled. And if you didn't laugh or you didn't laugh, I'll tell you one thing you will next time. Well, folks, we've come to the end of the line here on Between the Lines. But don't worry, we'll be back online soon with another adventure of Between the Lines. And until that time, stay smiling, stay happy, keep pushing on. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time. Bye bye.